The sun is out, the temperature is rising, and it's finally starting to feel like baseball season here in Utah County. And the sun's not the only thing heating up as two of the top 10 5A Titans clash, with Maple Mountain rolling into Salem Hills as the regular season begins to wind down. This is game 2 of 3 game series between the two, so let's run it back. Wherever you are, we appreciate you making us a part of your day. I'm Brett Hammer with Tyler Gibb here on Spanish Fork 17. Tyler, these teams are both gunning for dominance in 5A, with Maple Mountain looking to get on the board quick today and in a hurry in order to get back at Salem Hills for the loss on Tuesday.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at these teams and they both are able to score a lot of runs. Maple Mountain, they're scoring almost 7 runs a game. But Salem Hills, 9.1 runs per game. They scored just 2 yesterday, but it was enough to still get the win. So you see that when these two teams come together, it turns into more of a defensive battle. At least it was yesterday. And, you know, with Cam Coburn and Blake Carter on the mound today, 2 great pitchers as well, it should be another defensive battle, you'd think.
Right, if it goes any way like it did on Tuesday, I mean, Salem Hills has 4 pitchers who haven't lost the game. So this is going to be, like you said, an elite pitching battle. We're going to see a lot of defense. Like you mentioned, these guys do score a lot. They have multiple weeks where they scored over 10 runs in those weeks. I think Salem Hills to start the season off scored close to 24 runs. So this game really could go either way. I think, I would argue, probably depending on how the game starts is probably how it's going to go the rest of the way. We're going to start with a shootout, or it's going to be defense the whole way.
Yeah, you think about in terms of offense, one thing that is going for the offensive side, the wind, we can feel it at our backs right now going from home plate to the outfield. So the wind is helping out the offense in this situation.
You're certainly going to see it. I mean, what a beautiful day for baseball. It's been cold, it's been snowing, it's been rainy, and you cannot ask for better weather. The sun's right above, so not too much in anybody's eyes for the pitcher or the hitter. Like, this is just a great day to enjoy some ball.
Right field number 25, Garrett Holt. Behind the plate,
wherever you are, we appreciate you doing so. Go ahead and tell your friends, family, your Aunt Mammy, wherever. Go to youtube.com/SpanishFork17 to go ahead and catch this game and the other games that we'll do the rest of the season. But wherever you are, we appreciate you being with us. Let everybody know to come watch some baseball here at Spanish Fork 17 on YouTube. And we will take a moment as we wait for the national anthem.
As we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
Let's get ready for some ball. So we take a look here at the standings for Region 9. You see Salem Hills and Maple Mountain. We talked about these are 2 of the top teams in 5A. They are the top 2 teams in Region 9, Tyler. As we go ahead and take a look at the standings, they're dominating.
Yeah, these 2 teams have really separated themselves in Region 9 in terms of the top 2 leading the way. And for Maple Mountain to have a shot, you know, at claiming a Region 9 title, or at least a share of it, you're going to have to think that they're going to need to take these next 2 from Salem Hills. Obviously, the game earlier this week played a big factor in that, in Salem Hills almost locking down that Region 9 title. But this game will be huge if Maple Mountain wants a chance to work their way back to a chance at a Region 9 title.
there is something about getting to come in and play Wrecking Crew, because you look, Salem Hills is undefeated in Region 9. How good would it feel for Maple Mountain to come in here, play Wrecking Crew, and put a 1 instead of that 0?
Yeah, when a team is undefeated, that just puts an automatic target on their back. And Salem Hills, they've done it in Region 9 with defense. They're allowing under 3 runs in their 7 games of region play, so they've stepped it up on the defensive side of things, and their offense has continued to perform. So Maple Mountain will look to put that first ding in Salem Hills region schedule.
Come at the King, you best not miss as we go ahead and look at the Region 9 RPA rankings. Once again, taking in just these teams from Region 9, Salem Hills, Maple Mountain leading the pack in both.
Yeah, you can see that the RPI knows, and when they rank them, Salem Hills, Maple Mountain, the top 2 in that region, and then they must have just got bored with the rest of Region 9, 19, 20, 21, and 22.
Just taking a run.
These 2 teams top 10 in RPI.
As we get play started here in Salem Hills with A.J. Thomas up to bat. Two strikes, no balls, pitcher's count. Like we talked about earlier, this thing could get into a pitching battle real quick, as we just saw. They're starting the night out very hot.
Yeah, you see Coburn on that last pitch. You see how fast he went. Mm-hmm. He was lined up, and then when he goes to throw, so fast to the plate. And you want to start at bats, getting ahead in the count. You also want to start the game, getting ahead in the count, throwing those first pitch strikes, and to start with a 3-pitch strikeout, big for Coburn.
Seth Hall up to bat. 2 balls, no strikes. Seth Hall's batting .303 on the season. Gonna check that one. 3 balls, no strikes.
Hall was never gonna even look at that one.
He wasn't trying to mess with it at all.
Stood straight, no knees bent or anything.
Rips that one just into left field with a fly out, and that's going to be 2 easy, quick outs for Salem Hills to get this thing started in the first inning.
Good job by Coburn. You fall down 3-0, but just does what he needs, so you just got to put the ball in the strike zone. Trust your defense behind you, and through 2 strikes in a row, it pays off.
He seems really confident and really calm just in those first 2 at-bats. Frandy Mosquea up to bat. Pops that one up. That's going to be foul, hoping it doesn't hit us, and it does not. Right over the backstop. Yeah, you just saw the ump tell Caden Coburn to give him a second to get it. He's just ready to rip these. He is not afraid. He wants this thing done.
He's getting ready for the major leagues. He said they put a pitch clock in.
He said, I'm ready. We don't even have it, but I want it. Caught him swinging, and that's 3 outs. A quick 3 outs on 3 at-bats. Caden Coburn retired everybody to end the top of that inning.
The first, no runs on no hits. There were no runners left on.
As we take a look at our sponsors and say thank you so much to Lance Wilson State Farm, 2 Jack's Pizza, MVP Sports, Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Thank you so much to our wonderful sponsors here at Spanish Fork 17. As Salem Hills gets up to bat here in the bottom of the first. That's a quick first inning. I mean, we talked about it at the beginning in the open. This thing could get into a pitcher's battle really quick, and we'll see if that's how things continue on.
In baseball, a lot of the talk, we just talked about the rule changes in the MLB, but a lot of the talk, no matter what level, It's how do you make the game more exciting?
Yep.
And scoring runs is a part of that. But there's also just something about the purity of baseball when it's a defensive battle. And
right.
We've seen these teams score a ton of runs throughout the year, but it's always nice too when you mix in a great pitching duel.
It is crazy when you see that you go down their schedule. Both of these teams are edging 10 runs every single game, and so it's fun when you get to see them have to play a different brand of baseball than really what they've been used to the whole season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Salem Hills, they've had 9 games this year where they've scored 10 or more runs, and then you look at Maple Mountain, and they've had about 5 games this year where they've scored double digits, and double digits in a baseball game that's a lot of runs. So you have to be deep throughout the whole lineup, and that's what these teams are, but they're also deep with the pitching staff.
Yeah, double digits is one thing. Hitting up into the 20s is a whole other thing.
First baseman, number 7, Zach Nelson.
As we have Zach Nelson up to bat. Nelson batting .390 on the year. No balls, 1 strike. Crushes that one up into right field with a fly out.
Nelson flies out to right field for the
by
first
this
out of the inning.
incredible defense.
Now batting the center fielder, number 21, Nolan Miller.
Nolan Miller up to bat. Nolan is killing it in the batting average category. He's batting .459. That's almost every other time he's up to bat, he's getting on.
You see in high school some of these players, if you're a good hitter in high school, it's really crazy how impressive some of these batting averages get.
Rips it down to second base and tagged out at first. Forced out at first.
Grounds to the shortstop who throws over to first for
Okay.
the second out.
This is more and more looking exactly like that we thought it was going to go, which is both of these pitchers are ready to rip, and they are not wasting time on the mound.
Yeah, they're going, and you know, in this situation when you're playing a school that knows how to hit and put the ball in play, as a pitcher, you can't give up free bases, walks, hit by pitch, things like that. You just got to trust your defense. And so if you put the ball in the strike zone and just force Salem Hills, to try to get hits and beat you in that way, trust your defense. And these pitchers are good enough that they're able to pinpoint and place the ball so that it's not just giving them T-balls to hit.
Right.
And that's when the defense will be able to do the rest.
And even the hits or the contact that's been made with the ball, it's been out every single time. Nobody's gotten on base today. And that's going to take us out of the first inning and headed into the second. Both of these teams ready to rip. Both these pitchers ready to win as we're tied 0-0 in the bottom of the first.
If you're looking for a workout, MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome back into Salem Hills on Spanish Fork 17. As we're tied 0-0 here at the top of the second inning, with both of these pitchers looking to compete a little bit one with another. Nobody on base for either team in the first inning.
Yeah, not a lot of hard contact either. We've seen a few ground balls, we've seen a few pop-ups, but they weren't hit very hard. So both pitchers found a rhythm in the first inning. Didn't deal with too much trouble, and pitch counts are low.
You wonder if you'll start to see a little bit of frustration in these hitters as nobody's gotten on base yet. You wonder if some of these guys might start to reach a little bit because they want to get these pitchers down and get on base in order to score.
Yeah, and as a hitter, you just got to, make them work a little bit, get them in some uncomfortable situations. That's when the accuracy will start to go off, and hopefully, you can draw some walks as a hitter. It's important just to stay patient.
Ripped up to left infield, forced out at first once again. So, again, nobody's gotten on base in the first inning, this inning. These pitchers are not afraid, and they are making these hitters work for it, and it looks to be a little bit frustrating for these guys.
Yeah, and it's good defense, right? That's Case and Averett makes that throw look easy.
We are not in charge of that. We're TV. That would probably be those guys.
Siemens grounds back to Coburn, who throws over first for the second out of the inning.
Another strike. These pitchers are not afraid to just put it right down the middle. They know what they've got in their fastball, and they're ripping it. Popped into right field. Another fly out for this Salem Hills defense as we head into the bottom of the second.
Flies out to right field to end the top of the second inning for Maple Mountain. No runs on no hits. There were no runners left on. Heading to the bottom of the second, we're still tied at 0.
Want to say thanks to our sponsors once again, Lance Wilson State Farm, 2 Jack's Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Well, through 1.5 innings, it's quick game. 3 up, 3 down on both and all sides.
It's one thing to pitch scoreless innings. It's a whole other thing to not even let guys get on base, and anytime the ball is in the air, both of these defenses are moving the ball quickly in rhythm to tag these guys out.
Yeah, and it's
leading off the bottom of the second inning for the Skyhawks.
It's not easy for
number 20.
Sometimes you'll play a school that maybe just doesn't have as much talent, or the type of kids that have grown up playing baseball. But when you look at these two schools, they have a history of baseball, and there's a ton of talent on both rosters. So you got to work to get outs the way these pitchers are, and they're making quick work of it.
Foul ball is going to go down as 1 strike with Charlie Cushing up to bat. This team has 5 guys who bat over 400, and Charlie Cushing is one of them.
That's when you know that lineup's scoring runs.
2 strikes. Once again, these pitchers not afraid to put it right over the plate. Popped up to the shortstop with an drops that, rolls into center field, and Charlie Cushing gonna keep on improving that batting average and get to first base.
Yeah, and that's Corbin Bailey at shortstop. It's a very tough play. A one-hopper that's bouncing in the dirt that comes up like that. When it's bouncing in the dirt, the first hop, the spin's gonna be a little bit weird. So, and you see what the benefit of just putting the ball in play, a hard-hit ball. The harder you can get those to hit, the tougher it makes a defensive play, and Bailey does his best to try to stay in front of it, but just a tough play.
Tagged out at second. Drops the ball at first. You're going to have another one on first with 1 out. You wonder, it was really quick and easy for these pitchers. The first 1.5 innings, 1 ball gets through, you threw an error. Another one gets through an error. You wonder, is that what breaks the bank open and we start to see this scoring run that may not be stopped?
Yeah, that's in terms of that ground ball, it's a pretty routine, in terms of a double play ball, that's about as good a one as you're going to get. You know, Bailey was there at shortstop, fields it cleanly, and there's time there on that throw for Warren. He just needs to take a little bit more time. Seemed like, you know, he kind of rushed it, but really he had the time.
1 ball, no strikes, as we have one on first and third. Another ground ball that just slips up and lets guys get on base.
Yeah, support on the single to left field.
For Roper K.
For the Skyhawks.
Nice little single, gets his guy over to third.
Avery.
1 out with 2 on. You wonder if that gets to Blake Carter a little bit. It's not his fault, but he's pitching great, and these guys are just slowly but surely starting to get on.
Yeah, no, you know, the first ground ball that took 1 hop to Bailey, you know, that's a tough play to make as a shortstop. And then same with that one there as Leifson tries to field it. Those are 2, you know, where it's like probably not an error. You know, they could make the play, but it would be a really good play. So it's a tough ask by the defense, but, you know, credit Salem Hills for just hitting tough ground balls.
What a play. Slides, tags at second, makes the double play at first. Saves the defense a little bit, and we're headed to the bottom. We're headed to the third.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Welcome back to Salem Hills as Maple Mountain and the Skyhawks are tied 0-0 as we head into the top of the third. This has been a pitching battle and a defensive battle on both ends, kind of like we thought it might be.
Well, let's go back to that play that Corbin Bailey made to end the inning. He let the first runner get on. I shouldn't say let. The first runner got on a hard hit ball to him, wasn't able to make the play, and then he comes back and he was kind of playing up the middle. He wasn't in the typical shortstop spot, or else that might have been a base hit. And he fields it in a tough spot, his glove on the bag, and just slides, gets up, and makes the throw to first. Incredible play. We were talking about how those 2 runners that got on, those would have been, you know, they could have made the play on defense, but it would have been a really tough play. Well, that time, really tough play, and he makes it to end the inning.
Chase Johnson up to bat, hitting .314 on the year. Fouls that one off. All right, these batters know there's zeros on the board. They're starting to swing it a lot more than we saw in that first inning. It seemed like the batters in the first inning were kind of waiting for it to come to them, and now we're just getting a little trigger happy. These guys want to get on the board like they've been doing all season.
Well, you have a chance to, you know, watch the pitchers, and if you're in the lineup and you're in the dugout, maybe a good time to spit seeds and chew bubblegum with the teammates, but really you got to be paying attention to what the pitcher's doing, and you can kind of get reads on, you know, do they like inside, outside, high, low, how's the ump calling it, you know, which parts of the strike zone does the ump like to favor, and so you can get a little bit of a feel so that when you're up at the plate, it's a little bit more natural and you kind of know, all right, he's going to be coming inside on me, he's going to be going outside.
Chase Johnson fouls that one off to extend the count. Another ball. This thing's getting tight. Caught him looking, sends him back.
Coburn records the strikeout for the first out of the inning.
Coburn has been
Now batting
impressive
the center fielder, number 2.
high tense
Avery.
pressure pitches so far this game. You saw at bat in the first inning is 3-0. He works back, throws a strike, then gets the out. There, 3-2 count, throws a great pitch.
1 ball, no strikes. Rips another one up to the shortstop. Forces him out at first. So once again, this defense for Salem Hills, they are eyes on, laser focused, working as a team to make sure that nobody gets on base. One ball, no strikes.
Scoreboard currently not working, so 0-0, top of the third. And one thing, that Coburn is doing, it's either been strikeouts or groundouts. There was the one fly out to right field, but he's doing a good job at just putting it in a position where it's tough to get hard contact on the ball. We saw Salem Hills when they were up to bat, last inning, just getting hard contact as their Coburn goes really fast on the wind up and approach. But he's just not letting Maple Mountain get solid contact, and it's been a few ground outs to short and a few pop outs. So nothing hit hard for Maple Mountain so far through the lineup.
Yeah, they're starting to swing at everything. They're having a tough time getting comfortable with Coburn on the plate because, like you said, he's just going fast. He's in control, and he's not afraid.
With the pitch clock in the major leagues, you've heard, some of the pitchers will say, oh, this is harder, it's an adjustment for the pitchers. And then some pitchers that move fast, they say, oh, it's an adjustment for the batters because the batters have to be ready.
Right.
And that's what you see a little bit with Coburn. He moves so quick, it's an adjustment for the batters in this. No pitch clock, but they still have to be ready for Coburn, and he's just moving quick, and you gotta pick up to that if you're a hitter.
Salem Hills gets the final out to end the top of the third as we head to the bottom, tied 0-0. As we say thank you to our sponsors, Lance Wilson State Farm, 2 Jacks Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. I mean, we noted as we look ahead to our next broadcast, which will be the Provo Bulldogs taking on the Spanish Fork Dons next Thursday, May 4th. Same place, same time at 3:30 p.m. May the 4th be with you. We will have all the Star Wars references prepped and ready because this is the way.
Great 2-day stretch. May the 4th and then Cinco de Mayo. And then, this is the best time of year, I think, when you look at it in terms of sports.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have baseballs just starting up, getting into full swing. The weather's starting to get good. You've got, early in the month of April, you've got the Masters. You've got the end of March Madness. Now you're in full swing with the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and everybody can get outside. They can start, playing sports themselves. So this really is the best time of year if you're a sports fan, in my opinion.
And we didn't even mention the greatest non-athletic sporting event that I think exists, which is reality television targeted at men, the NFL Draft.
How could I forget the most talked about event that involves no actual playing of sports?
Exactly.
They start talking about the NFL Draft so early that by the time it gets there, you're like, am I burned out of it, or am I just even more excited? I think once Thursday night actually rolls around, you're pretty excited.
Well, our action is rolling here in the bottom of the third with 0-0. No runs scored today as both these pitchers are making it a battle. Dre Smith, designated hitter, up to bat. Trying to get some offense kindled for these Salem Hills Skyhawks, and he's going to go down. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. So when you're in a position like this, where the Eagles have yet to get anyone on base, Salem Hills gotten guys on base but hasn't been able to get anyone home, do you start swinging for the fences, or do you start slowly but surely just trying to get guys on?
You just got to start trying to get guys on. A game like this, and we saw it earlier, when these two teams played Salem, they went 2-1. So you just need to get guys on base, and, you get somebody on base with 0 outs or 1 out, and then you can think about, okay, do we, we could sack bunt him over, and then we have a guy in scoring position with 1 out. And then, these types of games can be won with a sacrifice fly, or, you bunt somebody around the bases and then you get 1 timely base hit. So these are the games that you just be patient. You just keep trying to make contact with the ball. Maybe an error comes into play, a timely error on defense, and it pays off and costs the other team a run. So you just got to get guys on base, and then from there you can work them over. But you just got to be patient at the plate.
Corbin Goal rips it up to Warren, tossed over to first, and that's going to be out number 2 here in the bottom of the third. As we are all the way through the batting order for the first time for the Salem Hills Skyhawks, with Zach Nelson back up to bat. 1 ball, no strikes.
Pretty rare. I feel like bottom of the 3rd inning, and we're just barely getting through the order for one team. I mean, normally by the time you get to the 3rd inning, you're seeing a couple of the same guys that you saw early in the game, but both pitchers have been working quick and not allowing a lot of base runners.
I mean, we're close to halfway through this game, and we're only 30 minutes in. Or an hour in.
Why do you need a pitch clock in high school if they're just going to, play solid defense, throw strikes?
Right, when these guys are just ready to rip. Like, you do feel sometimes like pitchers want to kind of get in their zone and feel things out and kind of control it, and these pitchers are like, no, I'm going to have you trying to keep up with me, as the Eagles rip 3 outs to end the bottom of the third.
Grounds to the third baseman who throws.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
Welcome back to Salem Hills, Utah, as the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles. Maple Mountain Golden Eagles looking to get on the board here as they are up to bat with Cam Coburn still on the mound, trying to keep these hitters from getting on base.
As a head coach, you've got to love the games that you're seeing this week out of your pitchers. You don't have to use a lot of the bullpen, so you keep the arms fresh. So it's a rewarding week for these head coaches after maybe some longer games earlier in the year. But now, you're you're deeper into the year. You're in the second half. You're going to have both of these teams are going to want to make a run in the tournament. So to get some games like this out of your starting pitchers where you don't have to use a whole bunch of arms keeps the rest of the pitching staff fresh.
The Skyhawks have 3 games after this. All of their pitchers are incredible as the defense continues to lock in and they get their first out of the inning. Their pitchers are incredible, but you're right, they're not having to use that much of the bench. I mean, we are in the 4th inning, and they're going to have 3 games left. They're really not going to have to abuse anybody as they get ready for the playoffs.
And not only has Coburn retired every batter that he's faced, but he's gotten to I believe it's just one full count. The rest have been, hasn't had to throw a ton of pitches in these at-bats. It's not like he's working hard for every out.
Right.
There's been some he's had to work for, but he's making quick work so he can go deep into this game.
Another strike right over the middle. He's just toying with these guys in the simplest way possible, and you wonder if it's starting to get in their head.
Hall popped out to short in his first at-bat. He did make contact, get it in play the first time around. 3 strikeouts so far for Hansen.
The Eagles have yet to get on base through 3 full innings.
We don't want to bring that up yet. No jinxes.
That's true.
Coburn. I said Hansen, man, for Coburn.
But again, the way these two teams have played all season, this could get into a shootout quick. We'll just have to see. And the first walk of the day, maybe a little broadcaster's jinx, as Seth Hall goes ahead and walks to first base.
The right fielder, number 10,
We'll take we'll take the blame for ending the perfect game there. But we talked about last inning. You might get anxious to start swinging for the fences in a game like this, and just hey, let's just one swing, get on the board, and take a lead. But Hall did a great job of just working the count, making Coburn work for it and put the ball in the strike zone. And eventually you're going to get base runners. And, that's the beauty of baseball, is you just got to be patient with it. Sometimes you win by hitting home runs and doubles and triples, hard hit balls. Sometimes you win in other ways.
Ripped into left field, and that thing's gone. Mosqueda said, we'll take your broadcaster jinx. We'll make this thing a little bit of a run-up of the score, and they're going to get 1 on 2 on the board here in the top of the 4th.
That's Frandy Mosqueda, and he says, hey, why not? Let's just get on the board in one swing, and a great job. You see Hall kind of breaks the door open a little bit with the walk. You get your first base runner, and then Mosqueda is just able to he gets a pitch that he likes, and that was a line drive. That wasn't like that was hit high. He just said, hey, let's just get this over the fence right away. Just
ripped it, and you saw Hall over at first base, leading off a couple times, getting Cam Coburn out of his zone. He threw to first base once, and pitch actually slipped out. You think that maybe that got in his head a little bit, which is why Mosqueda had no problem just gripping and ripping it right out of left field.
Perfect game and no-hitter ended on back-to-back batters. He took it into the 4th inning and he's pitched great. It's really been, you're going to give up base runners, you're going to give up a walk, and then one pitch that just gets away.
Ripped between the 2 infielders. Gets Corbin Bailey on first base. Starting to break the bank open a little bit here for the Eagles.
Now batting the first baseman, number 15, Cooper Siemens.
Cooper Siemens up to bat.
You see Siemens goes for the sacrifice bunt there. So, 2 runs, you've got the lead, but in games like this where, it's maybe it'll turn into a high-scoring game. A lot of runs could be piled on, but these runs are still precious, and to get a few insurance runs. So Maple Mountain's still taking the opportunity. Hey, let's see if we can, put Bailey at second base and then add one more in this inning.
If this is your first time watching either of these two teams, you may look and say, well, obviously these pitchers are good, but how good are these hitters? We mentioned to you, Salem Hills has 5 guys who hit over 400. Siemens hits over 300. So these guys up at the plate are not scrubs. These pitchers are just really making them work for it. as we sit at 2-0 in the top of the fourth. Another ball for Cam Coburn.
Guys are hitting just 195 on Coburn, so he's really taking guys that, normally hitting 400, 450, and, you go up against a guy like Coburn who guys are hitting under 200. And, that's when you get these fun battles. One of the, top quality pitcher against, these very quality hitters who know how to get on base. And eventually, Maple Mountain, they got it to pay off where you get one guy on and then you get the big hit. So it pays off and gets you 2 runs.
I mean, you said it earlier. Not necessarily needing to go for a home run every time, but just slowly but surely starting to get guys on base. And coming into this inning, the Eagles hadn't gotten anyone on base through the first 3 innings, and here they are making this thing 2-0. Rips that one, and that is gone for Siemens. Again, doubling up on base again, doubling the score, making this thing 4-0, cracking the bank wide open, coming in to play Wrecking Crew here on Salem Hills.
Mosquet, his was a line drive, quickly got over Siemens. He just popped that one up, and it just snuck over the fence. And you see, the American flag out there flying. That wind is pushing it out towards center field. You got to think, if there's no wind or that's going the other way, it could have been, close, may not have stuck over, but a great job, hard hit ball, by Siemens, and doubles the lead.
It's really easy to get discouraged when you go almost half a game without being able to get anybody on base for a team that is one of the best teams in the state of Utah. And just don't even worry about it. They're swinging for the fences once again. That's going to be a fly out at center field for Sawyer Lessing.
Flies out to center field for the second out of the inning.
Second out of the inning here in the top of the fourth.
Chase Johnston,
the designated hitter. Johnston, another one of these guys, batting over 300 on the year, swinging for it. As Coburn makes the play at first, tags him out, and we finish the top of the fourth inning, and we head into the bottom with these Eagles going up 4-0.
Johnson grounds to Nelson, who throws over to pitcher covering for the final out.
Once again, as always, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Lance Wilson State Farm, 2 Jack's Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, Plumbing. Okay, Tyler. Eagles started slow, finished fast there in the top of the fourth. What's the game plan look like for these Salem Hill Skyhawks to not get too bent out of shape?
Yeah, well, as Blake Carter goes back out to the mound, he's got to be loving that he's got a 4-0 lead, but the one negative is Blake Carter's been, now he's been sitting in the dugout for what was just a couple minutes in between innings when he'd have to run out there. Now he's got about 20 minutes since the last time he was out on the mound, about 15, 20 or so minutes. So now you see, can he stay in rhythm and can he keep that going? So if you're Salem Hills, just try to do the same thing that Maple Mountain just did to you. Try to start out by getting a runner on base. You don't need a home run to catch up right now. You just need a runner on first. See if they can do the same thing, make Carter work, and just get a few base runners.
Right, because both of those home runs hit by Maple Mountain, they had a guy on base. They worked to get one on, as we see Salem Hills bump one right over the left fielder.
It was Seth Hall in left field, and
Nolan Miller gets a double.
Yep, we're starting to see guys hit a little harder, and Miller, he just hits a rope that goes straight there, and Hall was standing, in position to make it, and it took a crazy hop.
Yeah, it just bounced right over him. You're right. We saw a lot of these thinner, shorter infield hits that were able to get swept to second and swept to first to force these guys out. And now they're starting to feel the rhythm that they've felt all season, which is we're just going to grip it and rip it, and we're going to go yard. 1 ball, no strikes. For Blake Carter. Cam Coburn taking a second. Pitcher crime here.
Yeah, Coburn's got a chance to help himself out.
I mean, these guys have been competing in their own right with one another from the mound, and now got them face to face once again today. Cam Coburn wants to go yard. Won't be successful in doing so as he's flying out at center field.
Coburn flies out to shallow center field for the first out of the inning.
First out of the inning, leaving Nolan Miller at second. Charlie Cushing back up to bat.
Cushing was the guy who got it started for Salem Hills. He had the first single of the game. You know, you got a runner on second. I think a single here can bring in a run. And then we saw what happened for Maple Mountain. As soon as they got that first run across the first base runner, things opened up.
Looking to swing big. For Cameron Cushing. One out here in the bottom of the fourth. Caught him swinging again.
And that's just a great pitch by Carter. You know, you don't want to give him something that he can hit hard. He throws something low and away, you know, close to the plate, but he gets Cushing swinging, and now it's 0-2, and he's got a lot of room to work with.
Once again, he's liking that bottom right corner, bottom left corner for these hitters. And they're having a tough time getting to it. As Cushing fouls that one off to extend the count.
Cushing has got a little bit of that like Ichiro in him, where he'll kind of be running down the baseline as he's swinging.
Yep, he's ready to go. Fouls that one off over the backstop. Will not go down easy, Cameron Cushing. Rips it again, popped into shallow center field. Fly out once again. Leaving one guy on second, trying to get home.
Now batting the right fielder, number 25, Garrett Holt.
Garrett Holt up to bat.
Miller did a great job getting that leadoff double, but now, you know, Carter is showing his stuff and showing that, hey, you know, this is the second time I've been in a little bit of a jam. He had first and third in the second inning and, you know, got them to ground into a double play. So each time that Carter's gotten in a little bit of a jam, you know, he's quickly been able to work out of it.
Strike, as Salem Hills is still looking to just get on the board. One of the highest scoring teams in the state of Utah, still just looking to get on the board against Blake Carter.
Salem Hills scores over 9 runs a game. But in their first 15 games, they had one game they were shut out against Skyridge 5-0.
Right.
The first 15 games, that's the only game that they scored 2 runs or less. In their last 2 games, they scored just 2 runs each in those games. Now, they were able to win one of those against Maple Mountain. But both games that they've lost this year, they scored 0 runs and 2 runs. So these last 2 games, the bats have stalled a little bit. And sometimes it only takes 1 inning to kind of get that mojo back for the team. But so far in this one, Carter's been able to shut them down.
Carter tosses it into the dirt. So we have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Maple Mountain up 4-0 on the Salem Hills Skyhawks.
There's a few Eagles in the Maple Mountain dugout that said yes when that went across the plate. They thought they had got strike 3. Instead, it's full count and a big pitch.
Yeah, it's tough to know what's going on because our scoreboard is still having some technical difficulties. So these guys are really having to pay attention to know exactly what the count is.
And a good take there. It's Garrett Holt, who, Carter tried to get him to chase a little bit. Wasn't a terrible pitch.
Now batting the catcher, number 5.
Holt was leaning a little bit. It looked like he was about to go, but he held off. And if Carter can get the out here, it's no damage done for the walk. But that's what you need. You just need base runners if you're Salem Hills, and then get a few timely hits.
Right. Roper K's up to bat. He can either get 2 guys home or fill the bases.
He singled in his first at bat. He hit that hard ground ball over to third base.
Roper K, and one of those guys hitting over 400, hitting 490 with 16 RBI this season with a chance to get 2 more. Leads the third on the team in RBI. 3rd on the team in home runs. So obviously a big-time hitter. Let's see what he decides to do against Blake Carter. 1 hop pop to second. Blake Carter going to pitch another scoreless inning as the Maple Mountain Eagles stay 4-0 at the bottom of the 4th as we head into the 5th.
For the Skyhawks, bottom of the 4th, no runs.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to 2 Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to 2 Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Welcome back to Salem Hills as the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles lead 4-0 here to start the top of the 5th.
Cam Coburn is heading back out to the mound for Salem Hills, so they are going to keep rolling with him. Scott Haney has got some he's got some trust in Coburn. He gave up the 4, and really he's still pitched a good game. He's allowed 4 base runners. 2 of those were home runs with runners on. So it was really just timely hitting by Maple Mountain. Coburn's still been, he's still had good stuff today. It's just some unfortunate timing. Looks like there will be no switch at catcher, but
right.
They had a new catcher trot out, but that was just Roper K. He was late getting the catcher's gear on after his last at bat.
Leading off the top of the 5th.
Bennett Averett here to start the top of the 5th for Maple Mountain. Bennett Averett batting 146 on the year. As he takes a strike from Cam Coburn. Fouls that one off to make the count 0-2. Hits that one foul up the right side to extend the count. Pitcher's count here at 0-2. Coburn tries to get him to chase a little bit. It's going to stay off that ball. Bennett Averett will. Ball 2. Or strike 3. Sorry. Strike 3. I was just ready for you guys to keep on going. Averett is going to head back to the dugout.
The reaction from Averett, he kind of like leaned away,
right.
turned away, dodged it. But it was a good pitch by Coburn, a little off speed, and he just gets it to drop back into the strike zone. So it did, throw you out. And we have the angle behind, we're behind the umpire a little to the side. And so you can see, you don't get the perfect read on if it's coming in inside or if it's over the plate. But that one, you see the batter duck, so it looks like a ball right away. But then, it's got that little off speed and a little movement to it. Comes back over the plate.
Warren up to bat, fouls that one off. Coburn rips another strike. Look, last inning was not Coburn's best. Gave up 2 home runs, 4 RBI, but he's staying calm, cool, and collected here in the top of this 5th. As Warren rips it into the left side of the infield, tossed out at first. First out of the top of this 5th.
Grounds to Cushing at third.
Cushing, who makes the
second out of the
out and just good play.
Catcher,
doesn't rush it too much.
Thomas.
At that hot corner at third base, it takes a good understanding of timing. Sometimes you'll get it. You got a long throw. You got to rush it. But Cushing, a good understanding, a good feel for the game. He just kind of has that know to win. All right, but do we got to rush this throw, or can we take our time and just make sure it's a good throw?
It seems like the hitters on both sides of the ball have been trying to rip it up the middle, the insides of these infield as we, again, stellar defense keeps it a scoreless inning as we head into the bottom of the 5th with Maple Mountain leading 4-0. And we say once again thank you to our sponsors, Lance Wilson State Farm, 2 Jack's Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So outside of the one half inning where we had scores, this thing's been scoreless the whole way.
It's the game's been moving, and honestly, even that half inning when Maple Mountain scored 4 runs, it was 4 batters in a row.
Right.
It wasn't like a drawn out, okay, we got, some runners get on, then a base hit here, and a long inning. It was just, all right, runner gets on. All right, let's hit him home.
These guys are not wasting any time at all. Pitchers, let alone, but these guys are either scoring or they're going out for both squads. Watch Blake Carter get warmed up a little bit. Again, you see these great pitchers, and they come into rosters that are loaded with big-time hitters, and you wonder who's going to prevail. And today it's been Blake Carter and Cam Coburn because, again, you take that one half inning out, these guys really haven't let anyone get on base, let alone get home.
And that's the beauty of baseball when you look at it is the hitters are at such a disadvantage. At any level, the hitters are – they're getting on base less than half the time. The good hitters in the high school level, they're batting around like, the really good top-notch hitters are batting around 400, maybe 450 if they're really on a hit streak. But so you see, it really just comes down to who can get the timely hits, and that's been Maple Mountain who's been able to do that. They've both had base runners. It's been Salem Hills who's had more base runners, but they just haven't been able to knock them home. And so, while both pitchers are having great outings, it's just been the timing for Maple Mountain.
Kason Averett up to do a little battle with Blake Carter. 1-0 is the count. Making it even at 1-1. Two balls, one strike for Kason Averett. I do wonder if Bennett Averett from Maple Mountain is related. We'll have to get a little research done on that. And that's going to walk, strike. Kason Averett thought he was walking, and the ump comes in with a late call for the strike. Makes this thing 3-2, full count.
With how fast the game's moving, the ump said, hey, I don't have any plans this early. I wasn't expecting to finish until a little bit later. May as well take our time making these balls and strike calls.
Look, he knows the draft doesn't start till 6. He's got time. He doesn't have anywhere to be. Kason Averett wants to be running home. He's going to foul that thing off. It's going to go out. Fouled off to the left. But call it however you want. We've had fair officiating from the ump on both sides. We had the call just last inning where we thought that maybe it should have been a ball and ended up being a strike, and same here the other way. So both these squads getting fair officiating from the ump behind the plate as Kason Averett ends up walking to first. So you got one on, no outs. Trey Smith up to bat.
That one was pretty close to the strike zone too. I was wondering if maybe we were going to get a late call again, but ultimately Averett draws the walk.
Trey Smith looking to get the day started as he struck out on his first at bat. As Carter tosses that one into the dirt. Gonna have a little meeting at the mound. Going to talk about who's bringing snacks for the draft party tonight, probably. Because what else are you going to talk about? Blake Carter's been killing it today.
Yeah, good job by Coach Thomas. This is, you're in the 5th inning. If you get out of this inning, that leaves you got to get through 2 more. And so you don't want Salem Hills to start piecing together, a couple 2-run innings. And, with the leadoff hitter getting on base, you fall a little bit behind in the count. You just want to make sure, hey, let's settle down. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Throw pitches over the strike zone, over the plate, and let your defense do the rest. That's what he does.
Neither one of these pitchers has been rattled at all. Smith trying to go yard, but it's going to end up foul territory.
It's one of the hardest hit balls we've had for Salem Hills,
True.
other than probably the double last inning by Miller. That one was hit pretty hard. If it's in fair play, it's got a chance.
That one's just as hard. Ripped up center field, and Trey Smith said, I hit dingers. Going to get a stand-up double with Kason Averett coming home to put the Skyhawks on the board. 4-1. What a hit by Smith.
Smith gets the Skyhawks on the board with the
pitch before. We see, he hits hard contact, it goes foul, but that gives you the hint that, hey, he's getting a little bit used to the pitcher. He's starting to get a feel for the timing. How is Blake Carter working? And you see it pays off the next pitch. That's one of those timely hits. You have a runner on, you hit a double in the gap.
That's one of the hardest hits we've had today. It's not going to make it to the fence. Goal's going to fly out in center field for the first out of the inning. We've had some really quick innings all the way through, but this one slowed up a little bit.
Starts out with a walk, something that seems harmless, but those are really important at-bats for a team, especially the leadoff hitter.
Zach Nelson being his third at-bat of the day. Blake Carter a little high. Make the count 1-0. Nelson fouls that one off. Launches that one into left field. Takes a little hop. And Zach Nelson's going to get on base. Going to get two guys on, 4-1. First run for Salem Hills scored in this inning. You got one out. No need to stress, no need to try anything crazy. Just keep getting guys on.
Yeah, the fortunate thing for Maple Mountain there is because they didn't know if Franny Moscow was going to make the catch in right field, and so Trey Smith, he stuck to tag up on second base, wasn't able to advance at all. So that would have been one. If he goes right away, maybe it was kind of a soft hit ball. He could have rounded third, maybe made his way home, but you got to stay for the tag up. So no runners advance, but you still got two on and one out, a chance to work some damage in this inning.
Nolan Miller up to bat. Senior batting .459 on the season. That's such a crazy number. Another ball for Blake Carter.
The Salem Hills dugout, this is the most active we've heard and seen them. They're all, up and clapping. You can feel a little bit of the energy, shift. You've scoreless through the first 4 innings. You're down 4-0, but you see what a couple base runners and a run does for the dugout.
The energy's here in the bottom of the 5th. Nolan Miller not able to get far, makes the double play, and we're going to move this thing into the 6th. The energy was rising for the Skyhawks with Blake Carter, and this Eagles defense are able to slow it down.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
We're here in Salem Hills in the top of the 6th as the Eagles lead Salem Hills 4-1 with a nice little push from these Skyhawks, but they're just not able to close it out after a few big hits. Not able to tie this thing up, but they are moving in the right direction, considering the slump that existed for the first 5 innings in their hitting.
Yeah, and it was an unfortunate way to end the inning for them, as we saw it was Zach Nelson who hit the single to right field, a little pop-up, and Trey Smith stayed at second. And then the next time up, a similar hit comes off the bat the same way, but that one was just hit a little bit softer, and you have to think that either Trey Smith thought there was 2 outs and he could just go right away, or he didn't want the same thing that had happened on the previous at-bat to where he couldn't advance, and so he was anxious to take off. But either way, a costly double play for the Skyhawks, and Blake Carter escapes giving up just 1 run.
Seth Hall going to watch that one whip outside. Can make it 1-0 in the count. Not chasing anything high this time either. That's 2 balls, no strikes. And there's the first strike of the count. Just not trying to take anything crazy, not reach, just letting the pitches come to him. And Cam Coburn's going to sneak one right past. He thought he had the pitch. All was not able to collect. We're sitting at 2-2.
There goes. It was full count. Coburn tried to go quick on that release, and he had a little off speed, but he left it too high.
Right fielder, number 10, Frondi.
That quick work has paid off for him today, just not there. And here's the man who most recently hit a home run today, Mosquet. Strike 1. Reaches over, keep first base in check. But he's got to stay focused on Mosquet, because that's what happened the last time, and Mosquet made him pay. Gets the 1 hop out of the left infield, and Mosquet moves his guy to second and gets on at first.
And this was the same part of the lineup that caused problems last time for Coburn. He had a perfect game going until Seth Hall got on base with a walk in the last inning, or 2 innings ago. This inning starts it off with a walk, and then Frandy gets the hard hit single, and that's a play where at third base, Cushing, you're thinking, okay, can I turn a double play? It's a good bunt.
Bailey bunts, tries to make it to first, and he's not fast enough.
Good execution on the bunt, though. That's exactly what you want. Now there's 1 out. You've got, first base is open. You've got runners on second and third. But you go back to that Cushing ground ball that allows Mosquet to get on base and allow 2 base runners. If there's nobody on base, you think, okay, he can, he knows that he just has to field it and then can make the throw to first. Whereas, okay, he's got a hard hit ground ball. He'll have time to turn 2 if he can get it and field it cleanly.
That's a fly ball. Fly foul out. So we got 2 outs here in the top of the 6th. This defense is working for it. Thought that one might leave the backstop, but it didn't.
Foul territory for the second out.
Almost came down right on top of
I know. I'm worried that one of these things is just going to trip. I think that's one of my biggest fears. Just getting ripped by a baseball.
And honestly, if you watch a lot of like major league games or games where there's fans all around on the side, you have fans here on the going down the right field and left field foul line, but it's probably a little bit too low behind the fence. And
another hop that allows Seth Hall to get home, moves Mosquet to third.
Costly mistake by Averett. That one was, we've seen a lot of ground balls slip through the infield that have, you're able to make the play, but it's a tough play. That one seemed to be one of the, one of the ones that you'd hope that they, at least if you're in Averett's shoes, he would expect himself to make that play every time. But a costly error for the Skyhawks.
Moves the lead to 5-1.
sometimes it's hard to see too, you know, unless you're the one fielding the ball, what kind of hop it takes. Sometimes routine ground balls can turn into much more difficult, you know, ones to field if it takes a little bit of a weird hop. And you know, the higher up you go, the better the fields are, so you're not gonna get as many weird hops. But sometimes, you know, that still is gonna happen. And you know, it didn't look like it was anything crazy from where we are, but we don't have the best vantage point. That's, you know, just gonna be seen from Averett, and so maybe it takes a weird hop and jumped on him.
Johnston swinging big on that one. He wanted to go yard, thought he had the pitch that he wanted, couldn't connect.
Wind is starting to pick up. If you get a hold of one in the right direction, it can have some good carry. It's kind of going out towards left field.
Coburn throws a fastball right down the middle. Johnston fouls that one off to extend the count.
That's a good dig by Roper K. That's one of those plays, you know, I was kind of down in the dirt. You know, it took a little bit of a hop before. That's one of those plays that you don't see that turns into a run if he doesn't stop that. And he didn't have his body in front, so it was up to, you know, stopping that with his glove. It takes one hop, he's able to get it.
And that wild hop gets Leafs it over to second. Coburn again. Everybody's a little bit confused. This time Coburn thought he had it done. He thought the Skyhawks were off the field, and Johnston ends up walking.
Aboard on the 2-out walk to load the bases.
The call in question, so the Salem Hills dugout thought that Johnston had gone around and swung, but because of where the ump is at with runners on base, there's no ump down the third base line. He's behind the pitcher, and you know, it's a little bit of a tougher angle to see, so they deferred to the ump out in the field, and he said that the runner didn't go, but at the end of the day, that's a tough angle for the ump to see, and you know, those calls are so close it could go either way.
Right. And to be honest, it's gone either way for both sides today for Maple Mountain as well as Salem Hills.
Caden Giles is the speed-up runner for Maple Mountain.
Pinch runner, Maple Mountain, Caden Giles.
Okay, bases loaded. We've seen multiple times now that the Eagles like to get Cam Coburn a little bit confused by hopping around over on first base, cause a little unrest, and then get a big hit. And when you have bases loaded, that's definitely the move. As Averett swings big and fouls that one off. Fouls again. He wants to hit. He's thinking grand slam or at least bring Mosque home. Again, these guys are used to scoring big in nearly every game they play, and now that they've swung the door open, they want to keep that roll running.
It's the third time through the order for Maple Mountain, so they've had a couple at-bats to get the feel for Coburn, get a feel for his pace that he likes to pitch with. You have to think this may be the last inning for Coburn. We'll see if they send him out for another one as the ump calls for time. Not sure what the discussion is about. The coach hands the ump a new ball. I don't know what the discussion was there.
Not sure if he just didn't like the one they had. Maybe he didn't have, realized he didn't have any left. Who knows?
Coach Haney came out and just was holding a ball out in his hand. The ump took it, but it didn't look like they discussed.
Well, he stopped and looked at the ball for a second.
Maybe they've got a sticky substance situation, or
Averett fouling off again.
the ump just put the ball right into his pocket. So they just continued play. We'll never know.
Look, if someone thinks you're cheating, it must mean because you must be playing well. Nobody accuses the guy of cheating who's losing. So, not saying that's what happened, but just as a general notion. (2-1) is the count. Averett swinging at almost everything here, this at bat. And Coburn retires Averett to close out the top of the 6th and move into the bottom, where the Skyhawks are hopefully going to come back, come up, and try to put more runs on the board.
For Maple Mountain, the top of the 6th, 1 run on no hits. There were 3 runners left on and 2 Skyhawk errors.
As always, we want to say thank you to our sponsors, Lance Willinson State Farm, 2 Jack's Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Okay, we're heading to the bottom of the 6th. It's 5-1. Blake Carter has pitched incredible all game. The defense on the infield has been close to lights out. What's the move here if you're Salem Hills?
Yeah, you just gotta continue to get base runners. This is where you're hoping maybe you can get that either a home run or a big one of those bigger hits. Once you get down to the 6th or 7th inning, you want to piece the innings together and just get base runners, but you're also hoping you're kind of that point where a big hit would really go a long ways for you. So you don't need to start swinging for the fences. That's not what that means, but you just need to start getting guys on base, and then once you have that, hope you can string together some hits and then get a big one to bring some guys home.
Leading off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Skyhawks, the pitcher, number 2, Cam Coburn.
Blake Carter on the mound to close out this 6th inning. Cam Coburn popping that thing up. Gonna fly out right dead center of the infield. Gonna make that 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th.
Now batting the third baseman, number 20, Charlie Cushing.
Number 20, Charlie Cushing up to bat. Gonna look to knock one off Blake Carter. Get the run rolling. Gonna take strike 1.
It's a good pitch from Carter. He puts it inside, just catches the inside part of the plate, and he's done a good job at getting himself ahead of the count in this game. And anytime he's been faced with some trouble, he's just stuck with his stuff, hasn't got sped up or anything, and just kept pounding the strike zone.
Yet neither of these pitchers have really had to play behind at all today. Cushion fouling these off as well. Trying to get something on the board, trying to get on base here in this inning.
He has the single back in the 2nd inning for Salem Hills. One of just 4 hits for the Skyhawks.
Cushing is 2nd on the team in hits. Two home runs on the season, tied for 1st.
Cushing has had a few long at-bats. He's done a good job at, just making sure that he's fouling things off, not giving away easy pitches to Carter. And you see, the leadoff hitter is making Carter work. Looks like Carter will ultimately get the best of Cushing.
Fouls that fly out left field for Cushing. Carter looking to stay clean and easy here in the bottom of the sixth, trying to close this game out.
Number 25, Garrett Holt.
That fouled straight back into the fence. It scared a few of the fans who were sitting right behind the fence. It came back quick.
Rips that up to the shortstop. Forced out at first to close out this inning. And we head to the top of the seventh.
Holt drives out to the shortstop.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
We're back here in the top of the seventh inning in Salem Hills. Maple Mountain, we said at the beginning, wanted to put a one in the loss column for region play for Salem Hills. Right now, they're in position to do that. The question is, how will the Salem Hills defense finish out the top of this inning, and how will the offense finish out the bottom?
Yeah, and Maple Mountain, they put themselves in a spot. We talked about at the top of the broadcast, when we saw those standings for Region 9. Maple Mountain, they have the 3 losses. Salem Hills, so far, nothing in the loss column for them. They're 7-0 in region play. So if Maple Mountain can hold on for the win today, then they pick up the win, to win the series against Salem Hills, and all of a sudden they're 1 game back in the loss column, and you hope, if you're a Maple Mountain fan, then Springville can wreak some havoc on Salem Hills and pick up a win, to end the season. And then, if you win out, you're looking at a chance to win the region title. So, definitely a lot on the line for Maple Mountain and Salem Hills. They've afforded themselves a chance to lose. Obviously, you're going to lose some games throughout the year, but Maple Mountain putting them in a good spot.
We have a new pitcher, Corbin Gull, looking to be the closer here in the 7th inning.
So Coburn will take Gull's spot. Or let's see.
Correction, shortstop. Avert moves over to.
So Avert will go to second, and then Coburn will go to shortstop, and then Gull
Maple Mountain
hops in
off the 7th,
to pitch.
The second baseman, number 11, Colby Warren.
You gotta like having a fresh arm, and he only has to pitch half an inning. Ripped up and out at first. It's going to be 1 out here in the top of the 7th. First out of the inning.
Number 1, A.J. Thomas.
A.J. Thomas up to hit for the Eagles.
Warren's grounded out at second base, shortstop, and third base. He's got the whole infield almost covered on those groundouts. Good off-speed pitch by Gull.
Nice curveball from Gull. Drilled into left, diving, doesn't make the catch in left field, and Thomas is going to get on.
It was Garrett Holt who nearly made an amazing catch. He had it in his glove. It was kind of an awkward catch, and on the rollover is when it fell out. So good job by Holt to dive and get his glove on it. Nearly came up with what would have been a Sports Center top 10 play.
That would have been sweet.
Just falls out.
Now batting for Maple Mountain.
Erickson comes into pinch run for the Eagles. Good job by Thomas, and you saw Goal go a couple off speed to start the at-bat, and then he did a good job of just making contact and getting it at play was Thomas to pick up the single.
Yeah, Goal's certainly a change of speed, both in his pitch itself, but as well as the pace that he's pitching with. When you compare that to Cam Coburn for the first 6 innings, these pitchers are having to adjust a little bit because it's not coming as easy.
Maple Mountain trying to get a little insurance run, sending in Erickson to pinch run. You can see Goal trying to keep him at bay over on first base. Seth Hall's done a great job this game. He's walked in his last 2 at-bats. He's done a good job of just being patient, and sometimes that's all it takes. We saw Coburn through the first 10 batters. He had a perfect game going, and it was Hall who threw that off by drawing a walk. And it's amazing what just a patient at-bat can do for a pitcher's mindset and just for the morale of your team in the batting lineup by getting a runner on base, throwing the pitcher off a little bit and making them, pitch out of the stretch.
Hall has 1 home run and 4 RBI on the season, so certainly don't want this game to get out of hand. You know you're going to have your work cut out for you in this top bottom of the 7th, and you just want to keep it as close and safe as possible. Seth Hall popped up over to the fence on the left side, and good defense by these Salem Hill Skyhawks to force. Seth Hall is the 2nd out of the inning.
Cushing had to go all the way. That's 5 feet further outside. It probably goes over the fence, but
right.
Cushing just enough room to make the play. Franny Moscow, he's 2 for 3, and the big 2-run home run to get scoring on the board for Maple Mountain back in the 4th inning.
They certainly do not want to mess with Mosque. Mosque rips it up center field. Bounce just before the fence. Mosque is going to get to second. And Erickson is going to get all the way home. So another RBI for Mosque to make this thing 6-1.
Have yourself a day, Mosque. He's a triple away from the cycle. He's just hitting the ball so hard. His home run was a line drive over the fence. That ball was hit hard down the left center gap. So Mosque has really found a rhythm this afternoon in terms of making good hard contact with the ball. Struck out in his first at bat, and then from there he's just been all butter at the plate.
Into the dirt. Bailey takes the 1-0 count. As our scoreboard's starting to turn on. Another ball. Gonna get an advance to third. A wild throw. And Mosque gonna make it all the way home. Push this thing to 7-1.
And that's, Roper K, he dropped it, and Mosque, he had a good leadoff and kind of hesitated for a second, but then he decided to go. and it kind of threw Kay off. And that's one of those ones he had a chance to throw him out, but unless you're going to take your time, just at that point let Mosquet get to third and just save yourself the chance at having an error.
Almost took somebody out. That one flew just high enough to break the lip over the backstop, and I swear it was 6 inches from hitting a fan, so holy cow. Bailey tries to rip it up the gap, and he's going to get tagged out at first. Going to force this thing into the bottom of the 7th, where the Skyhawks will have their work cut out for them. They now have a 6-point deficit they need to tie or overcome. Want to say thank you to our sponsors, Lance Wilson, State Farm, 2 Jacks Pizza, MVP Sports, and Triple T Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Okay, so we've talked about, for most of this game, the Skyhawks, their game hasn't had to be go yard on every single hit, but here you are, down 6, bottom of the 7th. What's the focus? What's the mindset like for these guys? Is just grip it and rip it every single hit? Because you don't know what's guaranteed.
Well, you got to get 4 runs. That's what you do know. You got to get at least 4. So you got to get base runners. You can hit 4 home runs, which everybody would love, but that's not going to happen. You just have to get guys on base. So get base runners. A new pitcher in Cooper Rollins for Maple Mountain, so just make him work a little bit. Start him off, get him a little bit uncomfortable if you can. But if you're Rollins, just throw it over the plate. Your defense has been fantastic all day, so just make Salem Hills work for it. Don't give them any easy base runners. For Salem Hills, get the base runners and then get the big hit. No need to grip it and rip it right away.
Roper K up to bat, 1-0. Little changeup right over the middle. Pushes it to a 1-1 count.
(5-1) is the score, bottom of the 7th.
Correction, the score is 7-1. We're our score clock, or our scoreboard is still running through some issues, so we are keeping everything here hard on paper today, trying to make sure we got everything right. So 7-1 is the count. Skyhawks are down 6 and need to start getting guys on base and pushing this out. Roper K hit to the fence, just short of going over. He's going to get a double. Again, good move. Gets on base. Nothing crazy. You like that thing to go over, but you work with what you got.
He had the wind helping him, so if it was going to get over, the wind was doing everything it could, but stays in the park, but that's all you need, and pinch runner will come on. Without the scoreboard, you get caught up in just good baseball. You get caught up in the enjoyment of the game. That's my fault for not marking the scorebook and or writing in updating those runs that the Eagles got in the last inning.
Look, the flag is flying. The baseball's been great. The pitching has been lights out. The sun's out. Temperature's cool. There's just a lot to focus on. Can you have too much of one good thing? I don't think so. Too much of a lot of good things? Maybe. as Averett pops that one up, takes a nice little bounce, and gets on it first.
Sawyer Leifson at third. He did a great job to get over and stop the ground ball, but by the time he dives and gets back up, there's no room for a play, but it keeps the runner at second.
One strike. Nice play up the third baseline. Gets to first, moves the guy to second, and scores a run to make this thing 7-2.
Second RBI for Trey Smith. He had the double that drove in the other run, so he's pieced together some good at-bats to get runners home. Now a pinch runner, or pinch hitter, excuse me. Chase will now bat for the Skyhawks. He replaces Corbin Goal.
Lone outside, making that an 0-1 count. Puts that one in the dirt as the runners think about advancing. They second guess, head back and stay safe. Once again, these runners making the pitcher and the catcher think a little bit. Tagged out at third, makes the double play at first. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th, 7-2. One guy on second.
Sawyer Leifson is showing off his defense in this half inning. He had the diving stop, wasn't able to get the out, but keeps the runner kept the runner at second previously in the inning, and then there, gets the ground ball, good awareness to get the leadoff runner, and then take your time and make a good throw to first.
Zach Nelson thought about it, said maybe not.
Runner at second, 2 outs. 7-2 lead for Maple Mountain. Down to the last out for Salem Hills.
When your back's against the wall, what do? That's what champions are made of. What is the move for the Skyhawks? We will see. Zach Nelson trying to play a little hero ball and keep the Skyhawks in this game. Count continues to tighten for Zach Nelson.
3-1.
Way to not swing at anything crazy. Time's running down a little bit. Back's against the wall. No mistakes. Gets 2 on. just chips that one off, goes foul. 0-1 count here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 outs and 2 on. It's first and second.
Miller does have a double today in his second at bat.
Nearly every double we've had today has hit the back fence. These guys are just so close to knocking them over the back wall. Haven't been able to come up with it. We'll see if this is it. Miller launches that one high up over to first base, and that closes out the inning. Closes this thing out.
First baseman for the final out of the inning, and the ball game for the Skyhawks.
That is the final on this ball game as Eagles win 7-2. We will be right back.
Your Skyhawks 2. We thank you for your attendance.
If you're looking for a workout, you know MVP Sports is the place to start, and that includes pickleball. MVP Sports has all you need to get active in this growing sport. Paddles, shoes, clothing, and the pickleballs. MVP Sports in Spanish Fork.
The best time to check your furnace is before it fails, and you can rely on Triple T to do the job right. Our technicians are trained every year so you can sleep better at night, knowing your furnace is safe to operate. Call Triple T at 798-7711 to schedule your tune-up today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
Contact State Farm agent Lance Wilson today.
Hi, welcome to Two Jacks Pizza.
For the best pizza you'll ever taste and our world-famous cheese sticks, come to Two Jacks Pizza on Main Street in Spanish Fork or call us for a quick delivery. Are you hungry yet?
Welcome back to Salem Hills as we've just finished up here. The Eagles take down the Skyhawks 7-2. Our MVP of the game, brought to you by MVP Sports, is Frandy Mosquet. Tyler, what a heck of a game he had today.
Yeah, Mosquet broke things open in the 4th inning for the Eagles with his 2-run home run, and then just kept it going all afternoon. He had a single, a double, 3 RBIs, scored 2 runs. So 1 triple shy of the cycle. Incredible afternoon for Mosquet. He just seemed to be in a rhythm up at the plate. He was confident. Ball was coming in like a beach ball for him, and, finished it off. He scored that last run, stole third, and then ended up stealing home on the missed throw. So a great job by Mosquet all afternoon at the plate. Got things going and kept it going all day for the Eagles.
The game felt close at 2-0. Felt like it was anybody's game, and then Mosquet really broke it open and kind of shut the door on the Skyhawks with that 2-run home run, and then his play the rest of the game as well as his play on defense. We thank you so much for joining us today for this presentation of baseball between the Skyhawks and the Eagles. Our next game will be next Thursday, May the 4th, Star Wars Day at 3:30 p.m. between the Provo Bulldogs and the Spanish Fork Dons, as both teams looked out to close the season in a good way. Thank you so much for being with us. We will see you next week. Are we still live?